Our planet is one of the 8 that orbits the Sun. Sorry, Pluto, but there are a number of interesting facts that have either been overlooked over the past years or just recently discovered. Could there be life on Venus? How is it that a single season on Uranus lasts for 21 years? If one of Jupiter's moons contains that much water, what does that mean for the search of extraterrestrial life? Join us as we discuss the top 10 facts of our solar system. Number 10. Uranus spins sideways. Uranus has the most unusual planetary rotation in the entire solar system. The gas giant rotates on its side, rolling around the Sun like a ball at about 90 degrees sideways compared to the other planets. The most likely reason for this unusual orientation is that it must have had some sort of high-impact collision in its formative years. According to NASA, Uranus's extreme tilt is the reason the planet has the most extreme seasons in the entire solar system. It takes 84 Earth years for Uranus to complete its orbit around the Sun. This means for a quarter of the time, the Sun shines directly over the north or the south pole of the planet. So for 21 years, half of the planet never sees sun at all. Scientists had been keeping an eye on these extreme seasons on Uranus, so they expected that the 2007 equinox on the planet might cause unusual weather. But it was 7 years later that the atmosphere erupted into wild, unpredicted storms, making Uranus more of a puzzle than ever. Number 9. You can't stand on Uranus. That is because Uranus is made of water, methane and ammonia fluids above a small rocky core. Its atmosphere is made of hydrogen and helium like other planets like Jupiter and Saturn. But it also has methane, and it is methane that makes Uranus appear blue. Like Venus, Uranus rotates in the opposite direction as most other planets. In Jupiter and Saturn, ammonia is observed above the clouds, but in Uranus, it's the smelly hydrogen sulfide gas. Hydrogen sulfide smells like rotten eggs, but that will be the least of your problems on this planet. The average surface temperature is minus 200 degrees Celsius or minus 328 Fahrenheit. Not to mention the atmosphere is made up of mostly hydrogen, helium and methane. Gas masks on, guys! These small differences in atmospheric composition shed light on questions about the planet's formation and history. Number 8. The whole of Mars is as cold as the South Pole. Temperatures on the red planet average about minus 81 degrees Fahrenheit with an atmospheric pressure of only 1 to 2% of what we have on our planet, according to data from Mariner 4 that flew by Mars on 14th of July 1965. Martian temperatures range from around minus 220 degrees Fahrenheit at the poles in winter to 70 degrees Fahrenheit over the lower latitudes in summer. Still pretty cold. Compare that to the South Pole, where the warmest temperature ever recorded at the South Pole was a freezing minus 12.3 degrees Celsius or 9.9 degrees Fahrenheit. The coldest temperature recorded at the South Pole, minus 82 degrees Celsius or minus 117 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just average compared to the depth of Martian winters, but you see the overlap, it's inhospitably cold. Elon Musk has made known his efforts to help humanity colonize Mars, with the first colony to be in place by 2029. The first missions will be tasked with scoping out the planet for usable natural resources. It is hoped that the expedition will be able to categorically confirm the scale and extent of ice and carbon dioxide levels in the Martian atmosphere. Musk also hinted in an interview that Mars could be warmed up by 2 thermonuclear explosions, one for each of the poles. Martian pioneers will also need to establish and build recycling schemes, landing pads, habitats, greenhouses, and further life support schemes to ensure the colony could actually become relatively self-sufficient. SpaceX could not do this alone. Since the living colony will need a large human population to be viable, it will need help from other public and private bodies from all over the world. Number 7. Mars boasts of a volcano bigger than the entire state of Hawaii. Some volcanoes can produce eruptions so powerful they release oceans of dust and toxic gases into the air, blocking out sunlight and changing a planet's climate for decades in ways that would make the atmosphere colder. After studying the topography and mineral composition of a portion of the Arabia Terra region in northern Mars, scientists recently found evidence of thousands of such eruptions, or super eruptions, which are the most violent volcanic explosions known. These explosions tore through the Martian surface over 500 million year period, spewing water vapor, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide into the air about 4 billion years ago, according to the paper published in July 2021. Mars has many other types of volcanoes, including the biggest volcano in the solar system called Olympus Mons. Olympus Mons is 100 times larger by volume than Earth's largest volcano of Mauna Loa in Hawaii. It's known as a shield volcano, which drains lava down a gently sloping mountain. Arabia Terra so far has the only evidence of explosive volcanoes on Mars, and indeed they are. Number 6. Could there be life on Venus? Venus is as hot as it looks with an ordinary telescope. It is a hellish planet with its insanely high temperature and high pressure environment that could even melt lead. When the heavily shielded Soviet spacecraft Venera landed there in the 70s, it lasted only a few hours before leaving to avoid melting due to the heat or being crushed by the atmospheric pressure beyond their ability to function. Even above its surface, the planet has a very strange environment. Scientists have found that its upper winds flow 50 times faster than the planet rotates. It also discovered that the hurricane force winds appeared to be getting stronger over time. If Venus is so inhospitable, how is it that it could host life? This cause for hope comes as a result of a 2020 study that thrilled some astrobiologists. In this study, phosphine was detected high in the Venusian clouds. Phosphine is a possible sign of decaying biological matter. Could this really be a sign of life? Not without sufficient water, so follow-up studies have firmly rejected the possibility of life in Venus's dry, windy atmosphere. Number 5. A day is longer than a year on Venus. This one might sound completely nuts, but you better believe it. Here's a quick reminder. A day is how long it takes a planet to rotate fully, and a year is how long it takes a planet to orbit the Sun. As you already know, it takes our planet 365 days to complete its orbit around the Sun. But with Venus, it's different. Venus is one of only 2 planets that rotates clockwise, and it spins much slower than others in the solar system. Some scientists think that this is due to the heavy collision with another planet in the past, moving it into a different direction. Another theory is that the planet just gradually slowed to a halt and then started turning the other way. Now, it takes 243 Earth days for Venus to complete one rotation and 225 Earth days to orbit the Sun. Therefore, a day is longer than a year on Venus. Number 4. There are more dwarf planets. Ever since Pluto's demotion from planet status in 2006, RIP buddy, we had to call it something else instead, so scientists settled on the term dwarf planet. But Pluto is not the only dwarf planet in our solar system. In fact, there are 6. And here they are, the former planet Pluto, Makemake, Eris, Haumea. These were the only 4 that we knew about up until 2015 when Ceres was visited by a spacecraft. The dwarf planet is in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Another dwarf planet was discovered that same year. It is now officially called 2015 TG387, but has been given a cool nickname, the Goblin. Number 3. The salty ocean of Jupiter's largest moon contains more water than on Earth. Jupiter has 53 named and 14 unnamed moons, but the title of Master of Moons belongs to Saturn, not that Jupiter's tally is anything short of impressive. The largest moon, Ganymede, has an ocean that is 60 miles or 100 kilometers thick. This is 10 times deeper than the Earth's oceans, and all this is buried under 95 miles or 150 kilometers thick crust of mostly ice. Ganymede is 46% composed of water, enough water to fill up our oceans 10 times over. Number 2. All of the planets in the solar system could fit between the Earth and its moon. If you do the calculations right and arrange the planets carefully, all of the planets in our solar system could fit in between Earth and its moon. But remember that the distance between the Earth and the moon varies. They're wider at the equators. This means that Saturn and Jupiter, or both, would have to be tilted sideways for this to work. Of course, that would most likely never happen, but if by any chance it does, lack of moonlight would be the least of our worries. In fact, the proximity of these planets to the Earth will make them more radiant than the moon itself. Also, note that our little moon creates vast tides on Earth already. The gravitational perturbation from our new proximity to Jupiter alone would destroy the Earth. Number 1. The Earth remains the only known inhabited planet. our dear planet happens to be just the right distance from the Sun, protected from harmful solar radiation by its magnetic field, and is kept at just the right temperature by an insulating atmosphere. These factors and more make the right chemical ingredients possible for life, including water and carbon. From scientific observations, we can make the claim that life is the exception, not the norm throughout our solar system and the entire galaxy. Thanks for watching this video. Let us know your favorite fact in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more amazing content, and see you on the next one. Until then, bye.